So this afternoon, we're going to be talking about identifying resources and opportunities for the craft sector. We thought it would be a really great time to bring in some government and industry partners that are involved in supporting small to medium-sized enterprises in Atlantic Canada. And as part of that, we have a panel here that are going to talk a bit about what their organizations do and how you can access resources. So we have Marie-Père Brunel from the Atlantic Regional Office of Global Affairs Canada. Marie-Père is going to speak first. Then we have Paul Guerin with Business Information Services at ACOA. Also Nora Perry with the Centre for Women in Business in Nova Scotia. Claire Efeston with Women in Business New Brunswick. And also Shelley Worth, who is with the Atlantic Association of CBDCs, which is the Community Business Development Corporation in Atlantic Canada. So I'd like to start off with Marie-Père. If you'd like to speak, go ahead. You have to unmute.
Thank you so much. I'll just share my screen. Is there something I need to do, Greg, to share my presentation?
You should be enabled for screen sharing, so the button should be available just at the bottom of your screen, I think.
Just a second. Aha, great. Perfect. Okay, so can you guys see the presentation right now?
Not yet.
No, just a little technical difficulty, it seems.
There, I think you're working now.
Okay, good, good, good. Always those last little details, eh? That happens. Great. Please let me know if you can see the presentation now.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay, thanks so much. So it's a real pleasure to be with you today. As Bernie mentioned, I'm Marie-Père Brunel. I'm a trade commissioner and the Atlantic Inclusive Trade champion at Global Affairs Canada's regional office in Halifax. And today I'm going to tell you a bit about what is the Trade Commissioner Service. I'm going to highlight very quickly two priorities that we have. Inclusive trade and e-commerce, and then I'm going to move on to the topic of interest, TCS funding that is available to you, and I'm going to highlight also to conclude a few events that might be of interest to you. So I don't know if some of you have been working with us. We're a network of over 1,000 trade commissioners located around the world in about 160 cities now. And your first point of contact is with me, the regional office. We have 4 offices in Atlantic Canada. So I work with 12 other trade commissioners that are specialized in a specific sector. So I cover the consumer product sector, and I work in really close collaboration with another of my trade commissioner colleague that covers the creative industry sector. She really wished to be here today with us, but she's on assignment with another division for a couple of months for upcoming trade missions. So you can contact me if you do have any questions. So what does the Trade Commissioner do? We help you gain market insight. We connect you with key contacts with our trade commissioner located around the world who have developed their network of contacts in your respective industry sector. And then we also help to find new business opportunities. They may have heard about potential buyers, potential trade show that might be of interest to you. Our trade commissioners around the world also organize trade missions targeted at the creative industry sector, and we also help you guys resolve any business problem you may have. So one of the area of focus that I wanted to mention is that we are promoting the participation. We have a special focus to promote the participation of women, Indigenous business, LGBTQ+ and underrepresented group in international trade. And we have a website actually that's dedicated to supporting women in international trade, and it's canada.ca-bwit. You see it on the screen. You can go there to find more information about the resources available for women entrepreneurs, such as upcoming trade missions, annual newsletters, also Twitter groups, and our LinkedIn group. And since, you know, because of COVID, if there is one lesson learned that we've had, it's the businesses have to develop a digital strategy, have to have something in place and to take advantage of e-commerce, basically to be able to survive and even strive in the conditions that we're seeing right now. And so it's with that purpose that the Trade Commissioner Service has developed various resources and support to that purpose. So we have a website dedicated to e-commerce resources. On that, you're going to find e-commerce guides for export to the US, to the UK, to India. There's tips also on how to develop your digital strategy. We also conduct e-commerce webinars on e-commerce platforms such as Amazon, Shopify, and we've also developed recently a social media marketing 101 for the US market. And those are capsules that are recorded on YouTube. So they're accessible at any time. And I'm more than happy to provide the links after the presentation. Of course, we have funding and eligible expenses under that funding program, Can Export, that's dedicated to supporting e-commerce. And finally, I just want to point out that there's an e-commerce guide strategy for the US market that my colleague in New York is currently working on. So that's more to come on that. So going to the main point of interest, funding. So we do have a funding program. It's not a loan, it's a contribution or grants program, so you don't have to give it back. And basically, it's a program called Can Export. You can find more information on the website here, canada.ca-Can Export. And it's dedicated to help SMEs, associations, innovators, and community investment as well. And I'm going to dig into the portion related to SMEs today. So today the focus is on SMEs. So basically, what is Can Export? It's really a funding program to help SMEs to prepare and grow in international markets where they have little or no sales. So it can be a first-timer exporter. Maybe you're already exporting to that market, but you have very little sales. About 10% of your revenue is targeting that market. And so basically, who can apply? So you need to be a for-profit company. It can be any sector, and you just have to be incorporated in Canada. You need to have a CRA business number, unless First Nation, on reserve lands, and you have to have between 1 and 500 full-time employees, and declare revenue in Canada between $100,000 to $100 million in the previous tax reporting year. So if you can qualify with those eligibility criteria, then I really strongly suggest that you apply for funding if you're interested in exporting abroad. So what does it cover? Basically, you can gather market intelligence, so market research. You can apply for IP protection in international markets. You can apply for certification. You can seek legal and business advice. And I was talking about e-commerce a bit earlier. This program supports advertising on social media and SEO as well, so search engine optimization for up to $50,000 of cost of activities. And it also covers translation, adaptation, and creation of marketing material. And since right now, because of COVID, you know, travel is not really possible, and for most people, so this eligible expenses is kind of suspended when it comes to supporting travel abroad. However, the virtual attendance to events and trade show is an eligible expense. So that's definitely something to be considered right now. And basically how it works is that the program covers up to 75% of the eligible expenses. So the company has to pay 25% from their private fund to apply, and it's for any project that is between $20,000 and $100,000 in terms of project costs. Since we're talking about funding program, I thought it was important to mention the Creative Export Canada program, which is not led by Global Affairs Canada, but rather another partner government, which is Canadian Heritage. So you might have heard about this one. This one is for a multi-year project between $300,000 and $2.5 million. Per project, and in this case, new applications can only be done in the fall 2021. And I should say that for the Can Export program that I just talked about, you can apply anytime during the year, and it's for activities starting as of April 1st, 2021, up to March 31st. So you can apply at any time for Can Export. But for Canadian Heritage Creative Export Canada's funding, you would have to wait for fall 2021. And basically, that program from Canadian Heritage support the discovery of Canadian works abroad, and it's focusing on maximizing results and it's supporting creative industry in one of the several industry subsectors, such as audiovisual, design, music, performing arts, publishing, visual arts, and interactive digital media. So you can see that this program is more targeted at specific subsectors, as of the Can Export is really encompassing all of the subsectors of the industry, including agriculture, and excluding, however, tourism. So I wanted to finish on this slide to give you an idea of what we do in terms of events that can be of interest to you and your business. So you see on the slide that what I've been listing is mostly the past events. Sorry. So it's just because that right now we are in the midst of reviewing the activities that our trade commissioners are going to be conducting in the new fiscal year starting in April. And as soon as that review process is over, then it's going to be easier to get a list of what's coming up. But just to give you an idea of what we've done in the past to support companies in the creative industries, there's been a creative industry virtual trade mission to the Netherlands. That one was led by Canadian Heritage, but was in collaboration with our trade commissioners abroad. You might have heard also about the Canadian Showcase at the London Fashion Week that took place in February 2021. There's currently a creative industry trade mission to Germany, also led by the Canadian Heritage Department, but also in collaboration with our trade commissioners in Germany that are helping with that program. We organize webinars. There's been one lately on the creativity beyond borders, business opportunities in the fashion sector in Mexico. That was in March. And as I mentioned, more to come in April. So if you're interested in exporting, that you have any question, need any support, please let me know. I'll be happy to help you or direct you to the right person in my team to help your business expand abroad. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Marie-Pierre. That was wonderful. I would highly recommend the digital strategy guides that she mentioned. I've been on the website and I've downloaded all of them. And they have a lot of really great, useful information. I'd also mention, Marie-Pierre mentioned the Showcase Canada in the advance of London Fashion Week, and one of our Nova Scotia designers, Tori Poynton, was part of that process and has had really good success. And also today, I just got a text a moment ago from Dorte Rosen, who's a Halifax jeweler who's taking part in the Germany trade mission that's happening right this minute. So that's wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll move on to Paul. Oh, I was just going to mention, if anybody has any questions, you can put them in the Q&A and Greg will check those out. If you'd like to ask a question in either English or French, Greg can handle that as well. Paul, would you like to take over? Great. I think you have to unmute Greg. Paul, sorry.
So hopefully people are seeing the Atlantic Canada opportunities screen.
Yes.
Yeah. So good afternoon. My name is Paul Gérin. I work with the Atlantic Canada Opportunities Agency with Business Information Services. We've gone through a little bit of a rebranding these last few months. We used to be actually an organization called Canada Business Nova Scotia. So in Atlantic Canada, many of you may have dealt with Canada Business in your communities, but we are managed and facilitated by the Atlantic Canada Opportunities Agency, and we've been doing it just over 25 years here in Atlantic. So we provide services on behalf of the federal government as part of a national initiative to provide a regional contact, first point of contact for a lot of government programs and services to help entrepreneurs. It is a free service that we do provide. So we provide information to assist in both business planning and expansion, or just at the very beginning in terms of startup. We do have a common phone number for Atlantic Canada, which is answered by a regional call center. And then depending on the inquiry, it is then redistributed to my counterparts in each of the 4 provinces. So overall, we provide business information and referrals on behalf of both federal, provincial, and non-government agencies here in Atlantic Canada on the services that they provide. It is a bilingual service in Atlantic, so regardless of which province you're contacting, we do provide both the service in English and French. It is to help navigate all federal and provincial and non-government. So we are business generalists, so it does allow us to have a broad sense of all of the organizations in each of our provinces. I'm more familiar with my organizations here in Nova Scotia, and then if I'm dealing with companies in one of the other 3 provinces, then I'll refer clients to one of my counterparts. We have information on planning, starting, expansion, and modernization. So we do have a lot of business planning tools that are either facilitated through government websites or through non-government organizations that have a presence here in the region. And then on behalf of the agency, we also then provide information on ACOA funding if it's applicable, or we then redirect people to funding programs that are through other organizations here in the region. We do have a collaborative publication with the Immigrant Settlement Association of Nova Scotia called Connections, which is an immigrant's guide to starting a business. And we then have a mirrored publication just in terms of general resources for starting a business here in Nova Scotia. So it talks about your permits, your licensing, your taxation, whether or not you need to be registered with Revenue Canada, how to register with Revenue Canada, and the various other departments and agencies here in the region. We, under ACOA Business Information Services, don't actually have any funding, but we do navigate the federal website through Innovation Canada in terms of helping people navigate the site. So it is a free service that we do provide. So we will actually have the conversation with the entrepreneur in terms of what funding that they're looking for, and then we'll actually navigate the funding tool on their behalf or redirect the client if they wish to the funding tool, and then they're able to self-identify. So we are able to help identify both government, either non-repayable or government grant, loans and programs from all of the federal departments, as well as provincial and non-government. Private sector organizations, if they have funding programs here in the region. We also identify which platforms organizations need to use if they are looking at doing crowdfunding. That way they are aware of both provincial and federal legislation in terms of crowdfunding sources. We also identify equity financing and also identify the resources that individuals should be using under their personal assets. So this is the federal website for Innovation Canada. It is a common tool that is available online. There is also a business app, and it does allow the entrepreneur to self-identify and identify what type of funding that they're looking for, either for market research, wage subsidies, if you're looking to hire, if you're looking to export or innovation, then it then identifies. In Nova Scotia, there's roughly 435 programs, if you don't use any of the filters, that actually then populate the application, and then it's a matter of knowing which programs are more applicable. So our resources through Canada Business over the years have been using this tool, and it really allows you as an entrepreneur to have someone else identify some of those funding platforms or resources that are available. So overall, we have information in terms of those who may be starting up or looking to pivot, in terms of starting up guides, business structure, the requirements for registering, taxation. We also identify permits and licensing under BizPal here in the region, or refer you over to the business navigators here with the province of Nova Scotia. We have a large collection of sample business plans, both through license, through various providers, or through free platforms that are available to businesses here in the region. We also identify various organizations or resources here in Halifax in terms of intellectual property with the Intellectual Property Office, or with Dalhousie's intellectual property section through Dalhousie Law. We also help re-identify importing and exporting requirements through Canada Border Services Agency, as well as the export step-by-step guide for small businesses through Global Affairs Canada. And then for those looking for financing information, we then do the financing tool. In terms of local resources, if you are looking to sell locally, we also do have access to a database through SiteWise that takes the data from Stats Canada's annual census. So the current census for 2021 has not yet been concluded. So we're using data from 2016, but it does give you current calculated data on your population and consumer spending. And it's, if anybody's ever gone to Stats Canada's website to navigate, it is sometimes complicated to identify what community or what areas you're looking for. With SiteWise, we're able to both do Canada and the US, and it does allow us to use information more generic. So we're able to do kilometers, radius, communities, zip code, or postal code. And we also then identify either competitors, suppliers, industry performance resources, as well as financial benchmarking, depending on the sector. So that is a quick overview of the services that we offer. So look forward to the panel and questions as we go forward. And we've just for any of you who may have sent emails in the past, we've actually just changed our email signatures again on Monday to the agency's ACOA-apeca.gc.ca.
Great. Thank you, Paul. That was wonderful. It's amazing the number of resources that are out there. So it's great that there's an opportunity for small businesses to call and request more information. Greg, I think there was a question in the chat for Marie Perre.
Yeah, there was a question about the Can Export program, and it's with regards to being incorporated. So where there's a minimum of $100,000 in revenue to qualify, can my past revenue before I incorporated be counted towards that, or does it have to be I incorporate, then I demonstrate that revenue?
Very good question. I can definitely double check with the CanExport team, but typically it would be, the past 12 months. But if the incorporation happened, kind of in that time frame, if it's possible just to send me a quick email, I'll put my email address in the chat, and I'm happy to double check that information for you.
Perfect. Thank you.
Great. And Greg's been putting everybody's emails and website addresses into the chat while we're discussing. So next, Nora, would you like to take over and talk about your programs?
Thanks, Bernie. You know I always want to take over, right? I'm really happy to be here. I don't have slides. I always like to just talk about the center and what we do. So the Center for Women in Business, we've been in the economic development ecosystem in Nova Scotia for the past 29 years. We're based out of Mount St. Vincent University. Normally, now we are all based at home for the past year, as so many people have been. So our role in the economy is to support women business owners across Nova Scotia. And we do that in many different ways. We work with women who have an idea and want to start a business. It may be that they've been working a hobby in the craft industry for a number of years, and they want to take that into a full-time business. We go along the whole continuum of business, right up to the $1 million stages. So we work with women business owners where you want to be on that continuum. So many want to have some extra income, and many want to build and grow large businesses. So we do that through business advisory. So we meet with women one-on-one. We'll do it primarily by Zoom now, of course, or over the phone when we get back onto campus. Whenever that happens, we can do that in person as well. We primarily are trainers. So we have 5 business advisors. All of us have entrepreneurship experience and are currently or were entrepreneurs. So we understand small business. And so we will work with you, training not just in the business advisories, understanding what you need and how we can help you understand moving forward, but we have a number of different programs. So we have a program called Blueprint for Success, which is how to write your business plan and how to get started in business. And we do have a new cohort of that coming up very soon. So if you're interested, please reach out to me. I believe my information is going to be in the chat. We have a number of certificate training programs. So those are 40-hour programs on business skills training. So if you need some training in financial essentials or social media or marketing, those kinds of things, we do that programming. As your business grows, we have a program called Advanced Management and Mentoring, or AMP, and that is a cohort of women business owners at a minimum of 100,000 in revenues and up, and are looking to grow their business. And that within that program, we build a peer-to-peer advisory board so that you are supporting each other. It's a very facilitated process that we go through, and to establish those peer connections. And within that program, we also do skills training based on the needs of the group. As your business grows to the $1 million stages, we have a program called Greater Heights for Growth, and can connect you with the Women's Presidents Organization. So when COVID hit last year, of course, we needed to find out how we can stay connected to women business owners. So one of the things that we did is we took our coffee talk, which was originally intended to be an online network for women in the rural communities, and we brought that into for anybody. And so we made that a weekly coffee talk, and we get 35 to 40 women every week get online to have a peer conversation with each other about how your business is functioning, any supports that you need. So we always have really good conversations each week. So that happens on Thursday mornings at 9, and you can go on our website and register for that. We have continued to do networking opportunities. We had our International Women's Day event earlier in March. We had about 200 women on our virtual event, and that was a lot of fun. We also do trade missions as well, and we've done a virtual trade mission. Well, we were supposed to do a trade mission to the Caribbean and Miami last year, and we turned that into a virtual trade mission, and we had, I think, 15 delegates, and that was that was really cool. And we are working on some new trade missions that will be coming up in the fall of 2021 and into 2022 as well. The other program that we are very involved in is supplier diversity, which is working with women business owners to gain access to the supply chains of corporates across Canada and the US and internationally. And there's a number of different programs that we have that support that. We do I want to say we do have funding. We don't right at this moment, but over the past year, we were lucky enough to receive some funding from ACOA through the Women's Entrepreneurship Strategy, and we were able to do some consulting projects for women business owners. And within that, we did a mastermind in partnership with the Craft Alliance for women in the creative industries. The funding supported about 150 women business owners. Some of it's just finishing up over the next week. And so we think that it's really important to meet you where you are. So whatever it is that you need, we are there to provide some support, some advice, and if we don't have it, is to find the connections, help find the connections for you. So quite often we'll refer people to the other partners that you see here on the panel today. And if you're, for instance, if you're going to be exporting, we'll connect you to the Trade Commission or to NSBI. If you're just starting, we often will connect you to Paul at ACOA Business Information Services. I almost called you Canada Business there, Paul. So what we want to do is help you develop that innovation in your business, whether it's through new products, whether it's through processes, whether it is just an innovative mindset. A lot of what we want is to help create that innovation for you, because that is the focus on how to grow a business. We work with women at all sectors, in all sectors of business, and the team has experience in all of the different sectors. And so our goal is to make sure that you have the right resources that you need and when you need them. Again, happy to have a conversation with any of you to see how we can help support your business growth.
Great. Thank you very much, Nora. We really appreciate that. I'd also just point out, we had a comment in the chat that the Centers for Women in Business, there are different organizations across Atlantic Canada. And we're going to have Claire speak next, who is with Women in Business New Brunswick, which is a newer organization. And Claire works frequently with, well, I think, Claire, your role is primarily export development, but you also work in other areas as well.
Okay, hello everyone. Yes, so my role is I'm development officer for export and international trade, and yes, that's my main role. And we are 6 people on the road. So I have one colleague in charge of startup, another one in charge of growth and expansion, and I have one colleague looking after indigenous women entrepreneurs. I just shared my screen, but I cannot see it anymore.
Oh, we can see it.
So do you see my slides?
It's not in presentation view. It's just in open.
Okay, so
There we go.
perfect. I was nervous. So yes, so Women in Business is a non-profit organization in operation since 2002. This is the first point of service for current or aspiring women entrepreneurs in New Brunswick. So we have launched a new structure with an advisory board in 2018 with a new team. And we are assisting women entrepreneurs in both rural and urban area and in both French and English language. So we are providing business advice in specific fields of expertise like startup, growth and expansion, export and international trade, and for indigenous women entrepreneurs. So yes, our mission is assisting current and aspiring women entrepreneurs in reaching their full potential as business owners by delivering quality, innovative, and inclusive counseling and services. So this is our advisory committee composed of women entrepreneurs of New Brunswick. And this is our team. So my director, Catherine Lantaigne, is located in Bathurst. Jana Alain Boudreau is the development officer for startup, and she's located in Campbellton. Audrey Poitras is located in the Grand Sault. She's the development officer for growth and expansion. My colleague Natasha Martin-Mitchell is located in Fredericton, and she's looking after indigenous women entrepreneurs. And Isabelle Arsenault is the project coordinator for an Atlantic project, so the Atlantic Canadian Women in Growth Partnership Project. And I'm Claire Efestion, in charge of exports and international trade. So what we do, we offer one-on-one counseling for starting or growing a business. We do a lot of guidance through the provincial and federal ecosystem. We have also created some tools, startup guide, growth guide, and export guide. And we have been offering a lot of trainings and workshops and webinars, mainly online events since COVID, of course. We are also creating networking opportunities, mentorship program, and we also have special projects. We are, of course, collaborating with various organizations across the province and some federal and provincial organizations. So this is just an example of what we have been offering during the past year, because we are also working on our training plan for 2021 and 2022 right now. So for the startup, we've been offering some training series about digital marketing strategies, about pricing, making the perfect pitch, building your buyer persona, the cash flow, and there is actually today a tax, training about tax for SMEs. Regarding growth and expansion, so we have been offering some scale-up events and trainings. Yes, performance scorecards trainings as well. So understanding financial statements, costing and pricing, credit policies, and collecting receivables, and maximizing your profits. We have had also webinars about protecting your intellectual property and a training named How to Best Grow Your Business. On the export side, I had a webinar about successful exporting cosmetics products to Europe, exporting a 3-part series about exporting food and beverage, an online export seminar of 2 half days about the basic of the export approach. I had also an information session where we have been listening to and gathering a lot of support organization for Canadian exporter, and they were presenting their programs and their funds and services to the audience. And also we had an inspiration series about going global. For Indigenous women entrepreneurs, we had some trainings about pricing, about building your buyer persona, how to write a business plan. There is also the Wabanaki Women Rising series. So this is a kind of inspiration events as well. The financial literacy workshop and the Nugent to Eskaticik Epitic website. So I'm going to elaborate later on this website. Finally, my colleague Isabel, so who is project coordinator for the Atlantic Women in Business organizations, she has been organizing some very specific trainings for underrepresented groups. She has a Women Entrepreneurship 101. So this is a program for startup, and an Atlantic Women's Business series. So this is a panel of discussion, but oriented toward underrepresented groups, so immigrants, visible minorities, women in rural areas, for example. And she has been collaborating for the launch of this website. So yes, I will focus a little bit on this website because that's an amazing project and that I think it can be of interest for you. So this is a website promoting the Indigenous arts of New Brunswick. So New Brunswick was the first to launch this platform. That's a pilot project. And so we are highlighting 27 Indigenous crafters on this website. So it has been launched by my colleague Natasha in partnership with Isabel and funded by her Atlantic project. So you can basically, you can choose if you can make your research by products or by artists or artisan. And this is just an example of the latest products that have been added on the website. So it's not an e-commerce website. There is no transaction, but it's a real opportunity to promote your products and to present your company, present the crafter, and then you can easily contact the crafter and make your order on his platform. So this is just an example of the inspiration series we had about successful women entrepreneurs. This is our networking activity. So once a month, we are organizing a coffee break virtual discussion. So it's a discussion of 1 hour. We have one event in English at 10 a.m. in the morning and one event in French at noon. And it's just a great opportunity to exchange with women entrepreneurs looking based everywhere across the province of New Brunswick. And this is the same gathering event, but for Indigenous women entrepreneurs. So presented by Natasha, my colleague. Yes, I've been launching an international peer-to-peer program last year. So basically it's twinning programs between New Brunswick women entrepreneurs and international women entrepreneurs in the same industry. And it's an exchange of best practices, of key information, market information. They can connect their peer with sales agents, importer distributor, with buyers, for example. So it's a very, very valuable and free program, twinning program. So the first cohort was between New Brunswick and Germany, and the second cohort was launched in November, is with France, the region of Poitou in France. And we have a kind of similar program. So we have joined a European program named W Power in collaboration with the CCNB and the Karelia University located in Finland. So it's also a kind of twinning program between women entrepreneurs in similar industries, but they are all located in sparsely populated communities, northern communities. So it appears that New Brunswick is facing the same challenges. So it was really interesting for us to join this program. For the first year, we have launched a startup competition. So it has been very successful. We had 34 participants. They have benefits from a lot of trainings before making their pitch during the competition. And yes, we are going to duplicate this program for sure next year because it has been very beneficial for our clients. And because of COVID, we have been offering new funds last year. We had a special CAS, a special consulting fund. It was a very easy application process, and it was a 2-hour consultation fund, so free of charge for the women entrepreneurs. We have also launched the WBCF consultant fund. So it was, we have taken in charge 100% of the consultant cost for women impacted by the effect of the pandemic. And we are still offering the CAS program, so the consultation advisory services. And for this program, we take in charge 75% of the cost of the consultants. So it covers some strategic programs, for example, financial strategy, export strategies. It can be also marketing planification for the next year. And to conclude, so there are some upcoming events. So April 14th, the new cohort of Women Entrepreneurship One-on-One will start. So this cohort is for Francophone, for French-speaking people. And we had one in English a few months ago, and the English cohort will follow in a few weeks. We will also offer a panel of discussion about rural women leading the way in entrepreneurship. So these are women from all the Atlantic, not only New Brunswick, it's part of the Atlantic project. And we are launching our first virtual markets. So to help women entrepreneurs expand their sales and capturing a greater share of online shoppers. So we are going to launch very soon the recruitment of vendors. So stay tuned. Merci. Thank you.
That's great, Claire. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. And we've put Claire and Nora's contact information in the chat and website addresses. And Nora also made a comment in the chat with respect to the Atlantic Growth Partnership. That is a collaboration between all the Centers for Women in Business in Atlantic Canada. So Shelley Worth is with the Atlantic Association of CBDCs. So Shelley, would you like to tell us more about your organization?
I will, yes. Are you hearing me?
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you so much for having me. I've just dropped my contact information in the chat. Let me see if I can bring up my presentation here. There, I think we're good now.
Yes, I can see it now.
Or slowly becoming okay. So thank you so much for having me. As you mentioned, I'm from the Atlantic Association of Community Business Development Corporations. We're a network of 41 autonomous business support organizations across rural Atlantic Canada. And so we really serve the rural communities. We're a not-for-profit, and what we do is provide basically 4 types of services: financial assistance in the form of loans, and I'll go over our different loan products; business counseling, so that's support and advice and engaging subject matter experts to provide counseling services on any specific needs your business identifies; entrepreneurship development and training. And so if you have business skills that you lack, such as setting up a website or social media, taxation, across the spectrum of business skills, general business skills that an entrepreneur might need, the CBDCs basically do a cost sharing with that. And then technical assistance, advice, and coaching. And so that's the staff at the CBDC and their qualifications to provide the type of knowledge and startup information that entrepreneurs might need. So for example, internally within our organization at the moment, CBDC staff are receiving succession planning training to help businesses plan for succession of their business. What that might look like is how they would prepare someone to take over their business or sell their business. Because each organization is autonomous, these programs vary depending on the province and depending on CBDC itself. So what you would want to do, the best thing for you to do, especially if you have questions, you want to know what would suit your specific case, is go on our website. And I dropped that into the chat, but that's www.cbdc.ca. And you'll be prompted to select your CBDC that serves you locally. Also important to note that we offer service in French. If you want this presentation, it's available and I can send it to you. Just send me an email. And we also have some marketing materials that we can provide in French as well. The strength of our organization is our volunteer boards. So investment decisions that are made and guidance and governance are provided by volunteer board members and our directors. As I said, there's 41 independent CBDCs located across rural Atlantic Canada. And here's a quick look at some of those locations. When you go on our website, and you click on programs, you'll be prompted to choose the CBDC in your area. That way you ensure that you're getting the best information for the services available to you, because our programs do vary by province and by location. And that's the 15 CBDCs in Newfoundland and the 3 in PEI. So what we offer entrepreneurs, the CBDC Youth Loan, for ages 18 to 34, the first-time entrepreneur loan, the general business loan, and the innovation loan. Most of these loans go up to $150,000, although in some cases, depending on the nature of your business and your proposal, more funding might be available to you. We also have a social enterprise loan for not-for-profit organizations. As I had mentioned, that business counseling service to help you with the technical advice and assistance you might need, and a consultant advisory service that provides you with access to consultants. Finally, we also do skills training, and so that might look like a group event, obviously on Zoom these days, but previously it was in office, or it could be one-on-one training. And that is generally geared towards general business skills, not a specific trade skill. We also do the self-employment benefit program. And so that's if you're on employment insurance or have been on employment insurance, you can apply to access this program, and it basically allows you to receive your benefits while you're developing your business. In New Brunswick, that program has a special stream for persons with a disability. We also work with Women in Business New Brunswick. Claire spoke about their organization, so I won't delve more into that. In Newfoundland, the self-employment benefit program is called the Self-Employment Assistance Program, so just be aware of that nuance. On Prince Edward Island, we have the Community Navigators program, and that's a new program that was developed recently to help businesses with networking and getting their organization off the ground. As I said, you really want to go to our website and see what is on offer in your area, because some CBDCs offer microloan programs, and that might be of interest, especially to smaller crafting organizations. There's also youth programs that are run through the summer, and I put our social media on my screen in the chat box as well, because following us on our social for updates is a great way to keep track of any changes in what we're offering. And on that note, we currently just wrapped up the Regional Relief and Recovery Fund, which was a pandemic response program that we offered through government funding. And on Prince Edward Island, they are still doing emergency working capital, as well as in New Brunswick. So to wrap it up, we have business financing through loans, we have training support, and we offer counseling and advice and help you engage with other services that you might need. We work closely with ACOA and with Women in Business New Brunswick. The best thing to do is to go on our website to find what services and programs are available in your area, or give us a call at 1-888-303-2232, and that will direct you to your local CBDC.
Great. Thank you very much, Shelley. That was wonderful.
You are welcome. That was fast. I was just watching the clock.
Well, thank you. We appreciate that. But lots of information there. And I actually didn't realize there were so many different individual CBDCs all over Atlantic Canada. I didn't realize the network was that extensive with 41 different locations. Is there any kind of centralized place for training with all the online training going on right now? I'm just wondering, is there any centralized way for people to see what's, like somebody who's in New Brunswick to see what's happening at a CBDC in Nova Scotia, for example? That would all be through the website?
That would be through the website. We do have an events tab on our website. Thank you for bringing that up. We also have the digital toolkit that's being run by the Nova Scotia Association. And so that's why I said it's very important. If you follow us on social media, you'll see a lot of these updates. They are running the campaign for that on the Atlantic social media sites. But events do show up there if they're across the Atlantic region. In addition to that, we recently, as of Small Business Week in 2020, developed a learning library that we host on our website. It's still in development. We're still adding content, and it is very new, but those are some resources that are always accessible, and they run from how to set up a Facebook page or WordPress website to the basics of a business plan.
Oh, that's great. That's wonderful. I've seen your event schedule, but I'll have to go check out the resource library. That's wonderful. Greg, are there any questions in the Q&A?
Yeah, nothing's come in yet, but now would be a great time if anybody does have anything that they want further clarification on about what these organizations can offer, anything like that. I think so far we've managed to answer all the questions that came up just as we went, but drop a note in the chat or in the Q&A if you do have anything else that you're looking for.
And we are recording the sessions, so we will have all that information available for everyone after. So I think we're good. Well, thank you all so much for attending. We really appreciate your contribution. Marie Pear, Paul, Nora, Claire, and Shelley. Great resources all over Atlantic Canada for our small businesses to take advantage of. So thank you all for coming today, and we hope to see you again. We have another session starting at 2:30 this afternoon about individual provincial funding. So please join us for that if you haven't already registered. Take care. Thank you.